So, I'm pretty sure I mentioned at some point that I like to play Castlevania. Hey guys, this is Silvertorian with Let's Play Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. Been a while, but figured we'd jump right into this game, and you guys have no idea how many attempts it took me to actually get this game to work properly. I've had the stupidest issues recording this, and it's really... I'm spelling wrong. I need to learn how to spell. That's my first issue. Really is. Alright, so, bit of backstory with this game is most Castlevania games, with the exception of this and its sequel, take place in the past. 1700s, 1800s, I think one's in the 1900s, but pretty far in the past for the most part, whereas this one takes place in the future. That is our main character there walking up the steps, Soma, and a little funny translation difference is, in the Japanese version, he was a native to Japan. In the English version, however, he is an exchange student. How this means he can have a Japanese childhood friend is a little beyond me in that case, but whatever. Anyway, the entire thing is you're coming up to a shrine to view a solar eclipse, and when the solar eclipse happens, things get real. And that's pretty much all you know at the start, because that is an awesomely pixelated bat. And that is an awesomely pixelated castle. But we're starting off here, we're somewhere, and introduced to our main character. Stereotypical white-haired pretty boy of any Castlevania, Metroidvania style game. So that is Soma, like I said. This would be his childhood friend Mina. And yeah, we just woke up somewhere, don't know where we are. I'm gonna try to go slow enough that people can read the story, but I make no promises. I like this guy. I kind of like this guy. I have reasons to like this guy. You'll see why later. He can be a bit of a jerk at times. I like that pose as well. All these characters have really interesting idol poses. But this is Genya Arikedo, or so he claims. And Genya is interesting. And one of the few characters whose names I feel like I can pronounce safely, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong now that I've said that. But his entire thing is he's wondering why we're here, and of course, we don't even know where we are. Except he just told us that we're in Castlevania. Well, Dracula's Castle, which is Castlevania, so same difference. But rather than being in Europe, like you would expect Castlevania to be, it is inside the solar eclipse. We'll get more into why it's in the eclipse later, but it's in the eclipse, and that's all we know now. We know about as much as Soma is being told here, and that's not very much. But it's like this. And then you failed a massive spot check because enemies come from everywhere. Also, that spell, totally not Soul Steal. What are you talking about? But Soma is carrying a knife on him for some odd reason. Why would you carry a knife when going to visit your childhood friend in Japan? This isn't New York City. Alright though, but we got something from that enemy. It is its power, essentially. Not that Genya is going to explain all too much, just that the spirit of the creatures entered its body, and we have the ability to absorb the abilities of monsters we kill. Of course, he's not going to explain why we have the power, anything like that. It's just, now that we have the power, we have to go to the Master's Chambers. And we are not going to find out why pretty much until we get to the Master's Chambers. But of course, Genya isn't going to explain everything, it's just everything out. So, at the very least, Genya is kind enough that he will put up a barrier to protect Mina. But we kind of have to leave out and go on this quest anyway. And of course, only you can do this. And of course, while we're all doing this, Genya isn't going to be sitting on his butt doing nothing. He's going to be doing stuff himself. Not that we'll see him very often, but we will see him. And another side thing I can mention is that you can talk to everyone you run into if you come back and press up to them. Start off with Aria of Sorrow. You start off some of the most neutered out of any Castlevania character. You can't backdash, you can essentially jump, crouch, you can't slide, you just jump, crouch, and attack. You also have the bullet soul you started off with, which is that red soul we got, which will allow us to throw the spear there. If you look in the upper left, you will see a red bar and a green bar. The red bar is our health bar, the green bar is our mana. You use the mana for these red souls that we got. I've already spoiled other souls, but you learn that from the interface easy enough. The number up there as well is also your health. It gives you like exactly how much health you have, while the red bar is just a visual representation of how much you have relative to your maximum. As you can see, we have our maximum, so 320 health is however much health we can have at one time. Every enemy in this game does have a soul, which I'm not going to make any promises that I will try to show them all off or get them all, because that's just a pain, but I'll do what I can. Now then, there are actually 4 types of souls. There are the red souls, blue souls, yellow souls, and the gray souls. Gray souls are more ability based, and I don't think I can do anything over here, can I? Oh, this is a save room. These are save rooms, nothing special. The gray souls are mostly ability based, such as the one we got there will allow us to backdash. Pretty useful. Now then, this being a Metroidvania style game, there are several things about it, like it is a action RPG type game. So we obviously have equipment stuff. Weapons, all the equipment has various stats. I'm going to equip these new things I got here because they're pretty much better. Armor, for the most part, is pretty cut and dry. It's whatever gives you more armor. There are, like, some armors will also increase other stats. I'll get into what the other stats do soon enough. Weapons aren't quite as cut and dry. As you've noticed, compared to the dagger we started off with, this short sword has a much longer reach. It also does more damage. So, that's a special door. There's nothing we can do up here. Yeah, I gotta kill this guy, though. Like, weapons, this sword we have here is a longer reach than the dagger. It also does more damage. Some will attack overhead, some will attack straight out like this, some do more damage, longer range, shorter range, and other effects. It's kind of interesting. This is the first boss. You should not take a hit from him ever. He telegraphs his attacks a month in advance, and you kind of just dodge them. If he breathes in, then you jump over it. If he reels his little bone mace back, you jump over it. And I got hit like that, like an idiot, because I said you don't take damage from him. I should do that sooner to demonstrate that you could use that bullet soul there and you get multiple hits on him. Side note is, most bosses will give you their soul guaranteed when they die. If they don't, they turn into a recurring boss that you fight multiple times. So that, spoilers, is a boss that we will fight again as a common enemy, which is a pretty standard for the Castlevania series. Peeping Eyes are the devil, but their soul is actually pretty useful. If I can, I'm not going to get it because it's a pretty rare soul. Most souls are pretty rare. However, what the Peeping Eye soul would do is reveal to you where these breakable walls are. That one's pretty easy to discover because you're probably going to hit it by accident when trying to kill that Peeping Eye. So there's that one, which is pretty obvious. There are more that are not so obvious. I'm probably going to try to get that thing's soul some point off camera, if only so I can help with map completion, because I'm not going for like all souls, but I will be attempting for map completion, because map completion is pretty useful. Now that there is our first blue soul, which, let me equip that. I'm amazed I have been buttoning right this game, because I'm usually bad at buttons. Now then, there are 3 types of souls that you can have equipped at once. There is a red soul, which are like these. They use up and attack for them. They're called bullet souls. There are, heck if I remember what the blue souls are called, but blue souls are used with the shoulder button, the right shoulder button, whereas the backdash is used with the left shoulder button. And here's the save room. I'm going to save real quick. And then there are also yellow souls, which are more passive effects, like it might increase your strength, which would increase your damage, or add other effects that are passive. You always have them, you don't have to do anything for it. Is that our first level up or our second? There's also another thing I should mention, there are weapon types. I should explain that. Actually, I'll go into the screen right here. There's an enemy info list, which will also tell you weaknesses and tolerances of enemies. Like the skeletons are weak against holy, but they're tolerant, like they're resistant to darkness, so on and so forth. There are a ton of elements: light, dark, fire, ice, electric, poison, blunt, slash. Most of the weapons we have for now will be slash, so some enemies won't be quite as durable to it. Now right here, the soul we got is the flying armor. The flying armor is essentially a slow fall, which will allow us to jump gaps like that. An interesting thing though is that the flying armor doesn't reduce how fast you fall. It reduces your acceleration. Which is to say that you saw I was falling faster as I went down. If I'm already falling at max speed and I use the flying armor, you see nothing happens. I like just seeing how the various little gimmicks and stuff of a game work, and that's just one thing I discovered on my own, which I really liked. And I'm going to kill this white dragon, because I don't like you, and I'm not going to be able to hit him. Yeah, but all the bullet souls use mana, all the blue souls will require mana per second while being used. These hearts will increase your mana. This zombie soldier has a soul I really would like to get, because I like his soul. His soul's pretty great. There are normal item equips, potions, mana regenerations, antidotes, stuff that removes curse, stuff like that. Your pretty stereotypical RPG item setup. Armors, equip one at a time, weapons, pretty standard. The game is decently customizable, not as customizable as some other games, such as this game's sequel I feel is a bit more. Any of the games for the DS are more customizable, being this game's sequel among one of them, along with let's see, Portrait of Ruin and Order of Ecclesia. And I personally love Order of Ecclesia. It's just recording off of Nintendo DS is something I quite don't have the capability of doing. If I did, I would probably do Order of Ecclesia, because that is by far my favorite Castlevania game, without a doubt. I'm pretty sure there's actually nothing for us over here. Like, there's that up there, which looks pretty shiny. We can't get to it, spoilers. There's a few other things, but nothing really useful that we can get or use right now. I'm just going up here because there's like a few side accessories that I'm going to grab because I can. Pretty sure we can't make that jump there. Hearts don't really need. Money in this game does have a use. There is a shop, which you can buy stuff from. Typically, the shop doesn't have a lot of useful things that can get your consumable potions and such. But as far as equipment goes, you'll typically find better stuff in the wild than you can get from the shop. Oh man, White Dragon Soul. Or, yeah, so I can equip that as well. So that'll be our first yellow soul, which will be just increase our constitution by 4, which also will increase our defense by 2. So, I suppose I should explain the stats right now. Strength, Constitution, Intellect, and Luck. Strength is your melee damage, how much that does. Constitution is defense. Intellect is how much you do with, like, magic, so say your souls. And then the final one is Luck. Luck is luck. Luck is your drop rate for enemies to drop whatever they can drop. That was a redundant statement. But, like, say some enemies have items they can drop, like zombies can drop cloth. I think it's just like cloth. Some sort of it's a bad armor, which the armor we picked up is already better than it. I should equip my scarf. So there's stuff like that, and also their souls. So if you have a higher luck, see if I can't talk, you have a higher chance of getting a creature's soul, which is pretty useful. At points there is like a soul farming equipment I will use at times, which is just as much luck as I can get. Oh yeah, axe armor. Pretty sure I would rather have the axe armor soul equipped than the wing skeleton. Axe armor just lets you chuck a axe out like that. It's pretty similar to how the cross would work overall. You can only have one out on screen at a time, unfortunately. It does decent damage at least, and it will hit enemies on the way out and on the way back, so it's pretty useful overall. Just uses a decent bit of mana, which isn't always the best. Now then, zombies, gimme. Gimme? No. Gimme? And there's one more. Give me, please. That there, by the way, is why I want the zombie soldier soul. He threw a grenade. They have explosives. I want explosives. Explosives are great. There's also these ghosts here. Ghosts are really easy to kill, but they will spawn infinitely. Kind of like how normal zombies will spawn infinitely, which is why their drop rate is terrible. Also, that PP9 in the background there can't actually get to us to my knowledge. Like, it has no way of getting to us. Really kind of ridiculous like that. And just gonna kill everything in our way since being an RPG experience. Yes! Whoop, there's the soul I'm gonna use for a while. And there's my first button mix-up. Now then, this uses a lot of mana, but you are throwing a grenade. And grenades are powerful. I like this soul. I like this soul a lot. This is going to be probably the red soul I use for the majority of the game, until I find something better. Or I don't need the grenade is either blunt or fire. It's one of the two. Regardless, it is powerful, and it can hit multiple enemies at once. And it's somewhat ranged, and you can kind of just throw it and then hope everything works out for the best. Of course, this being explosives, I like it anyway, because explosives, yeah, yay, explosives. So I'm just going to chuck a grenade at him, not going to hit him at all. I'm going to hit him that time. Get some souls back, we can't actually go up there. Getting pretty close to the next save room, which is where I'm going to cut this off, because save room. And this here is why I like grenades, because killing these things can be a pain without them. They are very powerful. Also, give me sword. Can almost reach sword. Almost. Not quite. Anyway, guys, this has been Silvertorian with Let's Play Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. We've gotten our first few souls. We've been told where to go, even if we have no clue why, or even where it is, to be honest. I mean, we have a map, but it doesn't really tell us where it is, or how to get there. It's just, oh, hey, there's a map. Okay. Let's see, so we've gotten a few souls, including the soul I wanted. I've already explained what all the souls do, all the stats do, stuff like that. Next time, we're just going to keep going through Castlevania and see if we can't figure out what the crap's going on here. Till then, guys, I'll see you later. Bye. Save the game. Oh yeah, saving will replenish your health and mana. Words. Later.